Oh, how's it going there, YouTube? Well, I figured I should probably give you guys a little update on the little McCormick Deering W4 kit that was supplied to us by Nick at Jolly's Farm Toys in North Ontario. You guys have been asking me where you guys can pick up one of these kits, and of course, Jolly's Farm Toys. The link's in the video description box down below, and then if you're interested in one of these kits, Nick can definitely hook you up. But anyway, I figured I should give you guys a little update here. I've done some of the prefab work on it, mostly just sanding parts and whatnot, but I'm almost ready to put the two casting halves together. So here's what we've come up with so far. Did kind of a mock-up last night, how things fit. Now I haven't cemented the fenders on or anything, I just kind of got them on to fit, so I took a little photo, but I put this front axle together. I'm going to have to separate this tractor anyway, but I wanted to show you guys how to put the front axle together and what you need to put inside this tractor before you put the casting halves together. Well, here's our front axle assembly. You of course get an axle, a wishbone, tie rods. This is your steering link. So the steering rod that comes out of the box. But I think what I'm going to do, I think it might have been my fault. There's this kind of rod here. I think I might use just a little bit too much on my tie rod. And I'm going to have to go and just use a little piece of copper wire. But that's okay. It'll look just fine. Because I'm going to make the steering rod comes up here on these tractors. I already drilled a hole for the toolbox too, and I mounted that in there. I'm just using some crazy glue too, because I never use this stuff. I usually use the nice little page stuff that you can open and close the bottle with. I also went ahead and assembled the seat. So I glued the seat pan onto the post, and I sanded that up nice. A little spot in there I gotta get when I get my Dremel tool fixed. I haven't got that done just yet. Also drilled our hole for our pulley. But now I think we're ready to stick the casting halves together. And from there on out we can put the rest of the parts on. We can drill the holes for the lights and the exhaust stack, the fuel cap, the breather cap, rad cap. Drill our holes for our steering wheel, because of course there's a, if I can pick it up, here we go. A little indent in the casting, and all you gotta do is just poke through there with a drill bit, and then you can put your steering wheel together. So I think we're ready to go here, boys. And of course, just a couple of spots. So this is why I didn't want to use vice grips, which I didn't. I just used C-clamp. You can see here that little bit of a nick in that. I'm gonna have to sand that out too. But anyway, I'll put you guys on the tripod, and then I'll get some JB Weld mixed up, and we'll put her together. So for those of you that's never done the JB Weld before, or any other epoxy you got to kind of mix together, I'll show you right quick, because I've used it several times for all our tractor projects and our 4955 and whatnot. So you got yourself epoxy steel hardener, and of course you also have your epoxy steel resin. This is what you basically mix this into this. So you want to put equal amounts down your cardboard. You want a 50-50 mix. And I'll show you guys the color when I get it mixed together. It kind of goes like a grayish color. I'll probably have to mix some more up because we got quite a bit to do. Because of course, not only am I going to put the casting halves together, I'm going to fill the casting seams too, of course, because we do that on our regular projects or restoration projects or whatever else. And why wouldn't you do that on your beautiful kit you got from Jolly's Farm Toys? So anyway, you just kind of mix this stuff together. I got one of these popsicle stick like deals here. It goes kind of this gray color, like a dark gray. Just kind of mix it together like this. It doesn't really smell too bad, at least I can't smell it anyway. Kind of mix it together, and then you get something that kind of looks like that, if you can see it. So basically, before you take and put your clamps on, maybe you should have your clamps ready, at least. Clamps ready. Before you go and sandwich these together, make sure you put your axle in, your drawbar in, and your seat post. And I kind of crazy glued my seat post in there last night when I was mocking it together. That way you're not really struggling with too much stuff when you go to put this thing together. So anyway, I'm going to start pasting here, and hopefully you guys can see this. So the way I see you doing it, you just want to take and coat this whole inside. Because this is what holds it together. There's no rivets or anything on this, not that I know of. I hold this together, so put her on there, nice little coat. I don't know if a paintbrush or anything would work any better or not, because I've always just used a piece of popsicle stick, or a popsicle stick if you will. Now, of course there's still a little bit more sanding with a few little burrs you need to clean up and whatnot, but at the same time I can do that after it's assembled. I really want to get it assembled, and that way it makes things a little bit easier. In my opinion anyway. For you guys it might be a little bit different, but me, I prefer to do it this way. So once your halves are assembled, it's just like working on something that's always been together, right? So makes things go a little easier. Should also point out to you guys too, don't know if you can see that little notch there, that's where your little drawbar ball goes. This has got a sliding drawbar, so they've got all kinds of little details in these kits. It's actually friggin' awesome, and I once again want to thank Nick for the opportunity to do this for you guys. So there, I've kind of gone all the way around there, you can kind of see that. Now, this side takes the drawbar, and we'll put the front axle in. Hopefully this goes alright. Now, there's a little peg for the back of this axle, and I don't think it comes with the kit, so you might have to make something. Which, I'm going to end up making something anyway, then you try not to get it all over your hands too much. This stuff, it can take a while to dry up, so that's why you get the clamps. And then you can kind of let it dry, then you don't really want to play with it too much once you get it put together. You kind of just want it to sit there kind of nice and pretty, like, kind of like that. And of course, when I get it kind of put together and get the clamps on, we'll go ahead and start filling our casting seams, which for some reason every other project you guys never really get the opportunity to see, because I just kind of go ahead and do it. You don't really figure you guys want to watch me do body work, so this might be a bit of a treat for some of you guys if you're interested in learning how to do your casting seams and whatnot. So I'm going to put this clamp up here, up front, and I may actually run back out to my shed and grab us a third clamp, and that way everything goes together nice and tight. They're going to actually go ahead and buy another set of clamps, the soft grip clamps. Well, they're actually called vice grips, so they're like for woodworking, about yay big. You're going to get those, and they got the soft ends on them, and that way they just kind of go on there nicely and don't damage anything. Okay, you're kind of starting to spread apart at the back here a little bit. So I'm going to grab a couple more clamps out of my shed, excuse me, and we'll be right back. Now that it looks like we've got all our clamps on, I got 4 C-clamps on the tractor, that way our gaps all look the same and we're nice and tight in our gaps. I'm going to go ahead and start filling in the casting seam. I don't want to put it on too thick, because you've already got some of that pre-filled down there, right? So that's why you put a little bit extra on when you put it together, then that way when it comes to doing your seam on your hood, you don't have to use so much, and it makes for sanding a little bit easier. Don't gotta do so much of it. Then I'll teach you guys a trick my dad taught me, because you know, myself and my father work for construction. You always want to feather your edges on this stuff too, and it helps make life a lot easier when you go to sand. Feather it out, and that way you don't have to get lumps and have to do a lot more work sanding. You can just take and be done with it. So, but that is a skill you guys will learn, of course, if you're doing more of this, unless of course you're a drywaller or something. You're a drywaller, you already know what I'm talking about. But, you know, this is one of the, I guess, more exciting times in a project when you're putting some of the bigger stuff together. You get your seams filled in and then let it dry overnight, and then of course when that's dry you can sand and then you can finish up your fabrication. And then we're on to the paint stage. I'm really excited to get some paint on this tractor for you guys. I know you guys have been asking me to do a red tractor for you guys for quite some time, but it always seems that the green ones come home. Now, I'm not a biased green guy or anything, but the green ones always seem to get the purchases on eBay because there's always so many of them, of course, so you're able to get them a little bit cheaper, I guess. I think I'm going to be doing a video on what's trending in the farm toy hobby because, well, I'll touch on it really quick. It's either tractors from the 70s or with the four-wheel drive articulated stuff. But that's another video. I think I'm going to get into that. No, maybe on the weekend I might try to do a video. Even though I'm working Saturday and Sunday this weekend. So you may not have a video on Sunday. But we'll see how it goes. I'd like to do a video for you guys because obviously I've got lots of stuff to do around here. Of course it's too wet and rainy to work outside. We're supposed to get another 4 days of rain too, so. It also is kind of tricky to do it with a C-clamp in the way, so just like anything, you take your time and do a nice job. So I've got the grill done, the hood done. I am going to do the bottom side of the tractor, so then that way when you go to show someone, it looks absolutely perfect. Anyway, maybe we'll do that kind of off camera. I don't think you guys want to watch too much of our body work. Now you got your stuff kind of pooped on there, I guess, to a degree. Spread around, top and bottom, all the way around. We'll let that dry up and we'll come back at her probably tomorrow night and then you guys can see what we've got. Hopefully I'm getting the shot for you guys. My arm doesn't really bend that way all too well. Well, I haven't done anything else with the 4955 or the 2940 yet. Haven't done any sandblasting, any sneaking around on you guys, so haven't missed anything there. But I might actually build a set of mirrors to go on that 4955, and I'll show you guys something neat if I get a chance to actually do it tonight. Anyway, if any of you guys are interested in McCormick Deering W4 kit or any other kit that I've showed in the open house video when I went to Jolly's last weekend, hit up Nick at Jolly's Farm Toys. The website address will be in the description box down below. Let me know what you guys think about that little W4 kit. Or, if you're interested in sending me a tractor combine piece of equipment for the greatest farm toy collection on YouTube and get yourself a big shout out, the P.O. Box address in the description box down below. Greatly appreciate everything you guys have sent in. I appreciate the fan support. You guys are friggin' awesome. Thanks for watching. Oh, I just couldn't resist.